they may like to be.
Very good. All right.
So
Anything else you'd like to tell me?
like
What are
to
the age groups you said? What are the age groups from?
75 to 90.
97, yeah.
All right, that's great.
Yes.
So these are middle class elderlies,
Right.
and by and large, these are people who are, let us say, on their own. Our board member is Mrs. Stuti Kakkar has already come. She is a retired
Mr.
IS
Irani.
officer.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon and a happy new year to you, Mrs. Kakkar.
Happy New Year to you. You beat me to it. I thought I'll wish you first.
That's all right. It's not a competition. Don't worry.
But you see, you get so overawed when you see a cine personality.
I'm senior. I'm
Cine,
senior.
C-I-N-E.
I thought, yeah. I am eligible as a senior citizen now, but it's okay.
So the government, the ma'am is a retired IS officer.
Yes,
So the
I'm aware.
government has got two definitions of senior. One is 65. You're yet to cross that. I
I
guess.
am 60, but in certain aspects, I am got senior citizenship. So
Yes.
airlines,
Railways.
airline also.
Yeah, but railways have taken away the benefit of senior citizen. They've taken away the discounts now.
You've taken them away.
Yeah.
When I
They
worked
make you
so
feel
hard to
very
get there.
guilty.
I told them, I did mention.
Just when I worked so hard to get there, you took it out just when I made it. Yeah. Great. So great. So
it's been very great for you to accept to come.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. No worries.
Giving 1 hour of your time is a lot.
No, don't worry, please.
Some of our residents from Bangalore have already started coming online.
Okay.
Ahmedabad is also coming on.
Okay. Well,
good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
I read something about your life, Mr. Irani. That was a long time ago. When you said you shifted from making, family enterprise to getting into creative arts. It was quite a shift. I wonder what sort of drove you. What was your...
These are all your,
What made you do it, or it was simply from above?
That's one of the key questions I have for him when I
When you can answer two things together.
Yeah.
No, we can talk about these things also. I will put it as part of my conversation also. And then you can ask me questions also. Whichever way you like, no problem. So there's hello.
Has been
Hello, Desai ma'am, how are you? Good to see you.
Chandrika Desai, madam. Yeah, she is with us in Bangalore. Bangalore retirement home name is Parkside Retirement Homes. Chandrika, madam, we are all saying hello to you.
Hello. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good. I'm right now in Valsad, Gujarat.
Acha. Okay. So we'll wait for...
Yes, sir. I think, sir, you'll have to give us another
5, 10
7
minutes.
to 8 minutes.
6, 7 minutes,
more,
I
sir,
think.
yeah.
No problem.
For them to gather and then we can start.
No problem. Absolute pleasure.
Amongst one of the finest movie I found you was in Three Idiots. That was remarkable.
Right.
It's hard to choose. I liked you in Munna Bhai as that highly stressed professor, kind of things, students drive their professors to.
Mostly irritating man.
Who
Oh,
irritated
the old
you?
man I played. The man I played was.
No, you were very cute.
When I did Munna Bhai, I was 44.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah, more or less. And then when I did Three Idiots, I must have been 49, maybe. But it was great fun making those movies. It was great fun making those movies.
Yeah, you live from role to role. It must be so
Enjoy.
challenging,
Yeah, it
live
is,
so
but it's
many
fun.
lives.
It's fun. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
but you sort of live through lives.
That's the whole idea, to understand another person apart from you. Otherwise, you get so involved with yourself, you don't understand other human beings and their condition, their mental makeup,
Yeah.
what is there. And there's a lovely there's a lovely it's like a fly on the wall inside the head of another human being. How do I put it? I don't know. When you get to meet people, you get to meet people who are not necessarily nice. You explore that all the characters you play are not necessarily meant to be good. All the characters you play not necessarily need to judge them. Play them for who they are, and then you free yourself. Otherwise, you say, no, this character is not a nice guy. No. You play the character for who he is, what his mental makeup and conditioning is.
I like the bad guys, the gray guys,
The gray
the
guys are
not so.
good because you understand yourself a little better through the gray guys. You understand yourself a little better through the gray.
Under on. Zoom on.
How many centers? How many centers do we have?
So we have 3 at the moment,
Raji.
and in Calcutta we just launched it, so
Okay.
we'll have 4.
Oh wow! And approximately how many?
So we are touching lives of about 800 people now.
Wow! So amongst the 3, you have say about 250, 300.
Yeah,
residents.
because Calcutta one has just started, so about 4
Yeah.
people are going to come in now.
Lovely.
Bangalore, Ahmedabad, they're a large number, and we have Gurgaon, which we got a care home there and a retirement home, which is half full.
Okay, great.
So care home is a place where we look after people who need day-to-day assistance with day-to-day living activities, diaper change and other things. So they are in the 90s generally.
You just need to put the camera.
They are getting online. They're getting online.
Yeah,
Chantika, ma'am, you've stepped out of the backlight. Now I can see you much clearer.
Thank you.
Hibiscus is connecting.
Hibiscus, yeah.
Hibiscus is our care.
That's the care home.
That's the care home. All right.
A lot of charities must be asking you to connect with them, isn't it?
Yes. There are times I find the time, and there are times that I find it difficult to find the time. When I initially I misunderstood the whole thing. When Mr. Gupta connected with me, I thought I needed to travel to. You mentioned, and I did it in a hurry. So I thought I needed to travel to maybe Bangalore or
Oh, that would have been lovely.
Yeah, I would have, but this has been a little bit of a tight period for me. And I've been to places, but that's the reason why I could not respond. Then suddenly I saw a message the other day from Mr. Gupta saying that we'll do this on Zoom. I said, yeah, okay, on Zoom. And immediately we fixed the time and we fixed the day. So New Year turns out to be good. All right, more people.
Very nice for him to give time on he said, I'll do it, but I'll take some time to fix that. Have patience.
Yeah.
So I demonstrated enough patience of 8 months.
Yeah, I'm so sorry because when you contacted me first, I had just about started shooting my film, which I'm which I've directed and written and produced and acted. So it was a real tough period. So, and
which one is it?
it's a film that I have it's called The House Guest. It's not announced, so I'm not, please don't share this. Please don't share this because it's officially not announced. So it's called The House Guest, which I have written, directed, and acted and produced. So when you must have contacted me, Mr. Gupta, that time I was in the middle of shooting. And right now we are on the last leg of post-production, which is sound and dubbing and background music and digital coloring, which takes a lot of time. I realize post-production is a whole different ball game when it comes to making movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's that which gives it that finish also.
It's the finish because the recording you do on the set needs to be polished.
Yeah.
The recording that you do of the dialogue, it needs to be polished or redubbed because there's so many disturbances in Bombay, especially. We have so many. So if we're doing a very good scene and the truck passes by or somebody honks loudly and it overlaps with the dialogue, then you got to go to the studio and then you got to
redo it.
Yeah, and that's not fun actually. But having said that, the polish, the sound, the ambient sounds, then there is something, I don't know why I'm giving you all these details, but it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
There's something called Foley sounds. Foley sounds are, if I shoot close a drawer, they have to record a drawer and they have to slap it on. Sometimes you need harder sounds, a car, brakes, things like that. They have to record every single sound and then slap it onto the film. So all that is going on as we speak right now. So
do you all get enough technicians, or there's a need for manpower development?
No, I think there are enough technicians. There are lots and lots of technicians. Hello, welcome. Welcome.
A lot of
Takes
residents
time
have
getting
joined
used
in.
to the online thing.
Yeah, but it's now become part and parcel of our lives, no? This online.
It's made life so much easier.
It has. It takes away a lot of travel time.
Thanks to Corona.
Thanks to Corona, yes. Thanks.
Mr. Modi has also been given a lot of push to it. If it hadn't been for him, it won't have happened. I've been in government until the top man says things don't move, whether it's PM or CM.
Right.
I worked in the Department of Disabilities. I set it up. Now there's an NGO that's using hearing impaired people for restoring films.
Wow.
Digital color, because that gives them that concentration. Now they can't hear.
Right.
So that is also a fascinating process.
It is very much so.
And very labor intensive.
It's already there. How long will I keep him waiting?
No problem. We'll wait. We are patient.
That's very nice of you.
People think it is on Zoom, so they can join in their own time.
That's all right. That's all right.
I had seen then I later on worked with children in crime, juvenile crime, and child rights. And there was a very nice movie, OTT, Pala Hai, that of children who get caught in crime wrongly.
Yeah.
And there's lot to be done
Oh yeah.
in that area.
There is a shelter that I work with. It's called the Don Bosco shelter.
Acha.
Yeah.
Which
So
stage are they? The
children who are off the street.
homeless
Yeah.
children, open shelters.
Yeah.
Our operations head, Vinny, has also joined in. So now.
Hi, Vinny. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's good. Good to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I think we are good to start now. We have a lot of residents who joined in. We have these atriums in the multipurpose hall where we have residents sitting together. And we are good to start now.
Go for it. You tell me.
All right, sir. So a very warm welcome to all the residents and all the participants of this program. And we wish a very happy, prosperous, healthy, and a joyous new year. We are today extremely overwhelmed and obviously thankful to Boman Irani sir for having joined us on this day, which I'm sure must have been very important for him to catch up on other important engagements as well. And over to our CEO, Age Ventures India, Mr. Arun Gupta, to take us through a little small journey of Mr. Boman Irani ji.
Welcome, Mr. Irani. A very happy new year to all my residents and to you, sir. Actually, I don't know how to introduce you because everybody knows you more than what I know about you. So, but yet I'll make an attempt on certain things which are there. Mr. Irani is basically a person who did a mid-career change into acting at the age of 40 when the family is already there, the sons are there, he's got two sons, they're there, and a person has to make a change and he's a rank outsider. For a rank outsider to get into industry which is known to be closed one and a closed loop industry was a courageous decision. He's an actor, he's a voiceover artist, he's a theater personality, he's a photographer, having fought his way into the Indian Boxing Federation and the Norwegian Federation boxing team as a photographer. He started his own production house. And having entered at the age of 40 plus into acting, has done more than 100 movies in 5 languages: Tamil, Telugu, because for my friends here from residents from Bangalore, just to tell them, he's done Tamil, he's done Telugu, he's done, of course, Marathi, Hindi, and I think in the languages that you know, Gujarati is one of them. So he's already there. He's done remarkable roles in movies like Munna Bhai and Three Idiots. He's been doing modeling also for the tire industry, for the C8, Ambuja Cement and others. He's done a modified person. You can say a complete personality from what it appears on the press. He's a complete personality. He sings also. And I went through a video of the Asian paint of his house and the piano also there. So in his house. So one can say that he's a total personality. He's a large-hearted person, like all Parsis are. My first boss was a Parsi when I started working, and I knew from that time to now. So I think adding more would be taking away his time. He's got limited time. I'd like to pass it on over to Mr. Irani. And Ritu, can you pass on the mic and he can... I would request Mr. Irani to talk about something that makes us all tickle and laugh and something about himself, what he's known for, having won awards. The greatness about his award is that for the same movie, he gets nominated for an award both as a comedian or as a villain in another award. So
at the same time,
it's a classic role that he does, which can be looked at 2 different ways for the same role. Over to you, sir. The floor is yours, sir.
First of all, a big, loud and happy New Year to each and every one of you. Please, everybody, from the bottom of my heart. Nice. Put your hands up, everybody, so I know that y'all can hear me clearly. So this is a nice way to know that I can hear y'all are hearing me nice and loud and clear. So as Ritu introduced me, and then Gupta ji introduced me, um, and he said I don't need any introduction. I come into my house every day, and I need to introduce myself to the family just in case they forget, because sometimes I'm away from home for so long. I travel a lot and I crack a joke most of the time. I'm not as fun. I know we'll have to check with my wife to find out if I'm funny in real life as well as I'm in the movies. I'm not so sure about that. However, as far as introductions are concerned, uh, I don't know if everybody knows what I do and who I am. And you've read out, some of my movies and some of the things that I do, and a little bit of my past. But I'll let you know of a little anecdote of how important it is not to assume that everybody knows who you are, right? Yeah. So I was on a flight, and I was sitting there in the second row, and people were passing by, and they were wishing me as they were going into the flight. And one guy early in the morning, you know, the rude person who speaks so loudly on the phone that everybody can hear what business he's doing. Either he's showing off, or either he has no consideration for his fellow passengers. So he was talking very loudly, and he spotted me, and he looked at me, and he went quite crazy. And he said, "Oh," and he started shouting, and he's saying, "You are my favorite actor." And I said, "Okay, you are my most favorite actor in the world." And he started shouting his head. I said, "Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. And I'm feeling a little awkward because it's very early in the morning, right? And then he started gasping. He didn't have any words coming out of his mouth. So I thought maybe he's overwhelmed. And then he came making some strange sounds, and then he came to my ear, and he spoke so loudly that the whole flight could hear what he said. And this is what he said. He's saying, "Bhai sahab, aapka naam kya hai?" Now, the moment he said that, the whole plane started laughing. For a guy who said, "This is my most favorite actor in the world," he forgot my name, or he didn't know who I was. He just recognized the face. So assuming a person is not taken for granted, at least for me. So everyone, Anil's iPad is here, Naveen is here, Lenovo Tab M8 is here, Radha Krishnan is here, and Pravina. Come on, turn on your camera. Let's see some faces. Turn on, Anil, Naveen, Radha Krishnan, Pravina. Turn on your cameras. Let's see you. There you go. So, to all of you.
Shah, madam. Naveen, you can put the camera on.
Come on, Naveen. Come on, man. Yeah, there you go.
He runs
and Lenovo Tab also. If that's your name, I'm not so sure that's your name. It's just, but so my name is Boman. I'm an actor. I've been on this planet for 64 years. Still the naughty boy that I was. In fact, initially, I wasn't such a naughty boy. I was a very shy boy. I was a very quiet boy. My father passed away. Yeah, Pravina, you can mute yourself because it's, yeah. I was a very shy child. My father passed away before I was born, so I came into this world with everybody calling me Bichara, Bichara, Bichara. As I don't know why the hell people were calling me Bichara. Bichara Boman, Bichara Boman, Bichara Boman. I really didn't know why. Because for me, that was how this world is supposed to be. With a mother, 3 sisters, 28 masis and chachis, and their friends. I didn't even know that there was a male species until I grew up. And I was hugely protected. I was hugely protected by these wonderful women that brought me up. Now, the reason why I was very shy was because I had a speech defect. I used to speak a lot. I used to squeak. I had a very high registered voice. I beg your pardon. I also stammered, and I used to lisp very, in a very pronounced way. I used to stick my tongue out like that and talk. I'm not like virus used to speak in Three Idiots. So everyone used to find that very funny. And I thought there's something wrong with me. Why people... Yeah, Pravina, turn off your mouth, mute yourself. And I used to wonder why people were laughing. I thought there's something wrong with me. But they found the speech funny. But I took it very seriously. And for that reason, I never spoke. I was so shy because I just found it odd. So and thanks to that, I was a very shy child. I was not a great student. My maths is all over the place. And it's a learning disability. They call it dyscalculia. Back in the day, there was no such scientific research term for dyscalculia. It was just called duffer hai ye chokra. मेरे को डफर ही बुलाते थे सब लोग. मैं बोला ठीक है डफर तो डफर ही सही. मेरे मन में मैं डफर नहीं हूँ. In my mind, I was a bright enough kid who didn't speak. The thing was, my shyness got the better of me. And teachers used to actually write remarks in my calendar that I was not naughty enough. Little did they know that the day I open my mouth, I'm going to be a handful to deal with. My mother was very encouraging. She never let me feel that my results in class was any indication of my intelligence. And so what if you're not good at maths and science? One day, she came for a school function, and I go to a lot of school functions. And she saw me on stage. Yeah. Ram, if you can turn off your mic. Yeah. Rama, sorry. And she saw me on stage, and I looked at her from the stage. She was in the audience. I kind of know exactly where she was sitting. And she saw me, and I was smiling. And she saw that. And she was wondering why I'm smiling, because I used to scowl a lot. What with people calling you duffer all the time, right? She asked me, did you enjoy being on stage? I said, very much. And for a woman who has just lost a husband, she must have been 30, 31. She had 3 little girls before me and a shop to run. She had the intelligence to understand that this kid is happy on stage. And therefore, what she did was, very, very smartly, she encouraged me to go on stage. She sent me to theater to watch. She sent me to a drama teacher who took care of my speech defect. To music classes, and she sent me to movies every day. Every day she would send me to movies. She made sure that I had an education through films. I traveled the world through films. I never had a passport till I was 35, but I'd seen the world through cinema. I saw Europe and America and Africa and Japan. I saw different cultures and different peoples and different attitudes through cinema. I understood language, I understood art, and I understood drama. And she saw that. I was 11 years old, and I used to see all kinds of movies, not just kiddie movies. And when I was 11 years old, she was sitting at the shop, and there was a friend of my father called Farud uncle. And he used to come and talk to her every day. And he asked what movie is running at the Novelty Cinema, which was adjacent to our shop. And I said, El Cid, because I'd seen it in the morning show, 10 o'clock morning show with reduced rates. This we call red rates. So he says, oh, how beautiful. I wish I could see the movie. Who? Farud uncle said that. So my mother said, yeah, Boman will take you. I'm 11. Farooq uncle is in his 70s. Right? Now I'm supposed to escort Farooq uncle to the movies. Think about it. What is my responsibility here? That I take care of him, buy the samosa, popcorn, and the cold drink, or maybe the ice cream, because I never went to the movies and did not eat ice cream and some popcorn, right? But the main thing was, why did Farooq uncle ask? Could he not figure out himself that this movie is running at the Novelty? Farooq uncle was blind. He was blind. He used to wear those dark glasses and he couldn't see. But what my mother did was he empowered me. She empowered me. Why I said he? Because she was like a mother and father to me. She empowered me. She empowered an 11-year-old child to take a 75-year-old blind man to the movies, seat him in the theater, think about it, and give a commentary in his ear. Of course, there was nobody in the theater, so I could speak, and I would give a commentary as the film unfolded. What it did for me was, it gave me a great feeling of pride, responsibility, and empowerment. For 2-3 reasons. A, I was taking care of a person older than I, who was blind. And B, I was telling him a story. And that was the great empowerment as far as I'm concerned. Understanding stories was what I realized is my game. Something that I would aim for, no matter how late in life I realized that dream. I understood how to narrate and say as much as is important, to leave out parts that are unimportant. It's called editing. And it made me feel from that day on as a very special child, a child with strength, and a child that my mother, I realized, had great faith in. Everything from that day on was focused on movies and theater and the stage. And I grew up realizing that someday I will fulfill my dream. However, back in the day, I mean, movies was about very good-looking heroes, and in no stretch of imagination was I good-looking. And it was, the times of Rajesh Khanna and Shashi Kapoor and Shami Kapoor and Dharmendra. Where will I fit in all of this? So things took a backseat. And I was required to go and sit at the wafer shop. We had a dukan, choti si dukan thi hamari. My mother sat there for so many years till she was about 70, 74, 75. She sat at the shop selling chips. And I was there to assist her. So it took me a little bit of time to realize, but while I was at the shop, I used to read. There was no YouTube back in the day. Beg your pardon. So I used to read. And I used to read about acting. I used to read about great directors, Alfred Hitchcock and John Ford. And then the young Steven Spielberg came along. Bimal Roy, Gurudutt, Rishikesh Mukherjee. And everybody, for some strange reason, used to only give me books about. And I think my education happened at the shop, because every day I would sit at the shop and characters to come in and observe the characters, how they would walk, how they would speak, how they would remove their weight. You judge a man by his quality. I mean, think about it in a simple way. Some of us remove our wallets, count our money, and we give the money like this. Some people hide and give you their money. It's character revelation. And I understood character. I understood character only by observing customers that were walking into the shop. That became my education. And I should really think someday I'm going to use all these characters when I do finally become an actor. I'm going to put them in my movies. And believe me, the characters that you see and the characters that you've watched me enact on screen, there is a customer of mine. There may be a teacher of mine. They may be a friend of mine, but life is all about observation. Observation of people, how they sit, how close they sit to each other, what their body language tells you a million things, how they hold their eyes. The eyes are a window to the heart and the soul. And I observe that. And I think that's very, very important. I can see the couple in blue over there, the oppo smiling at each other. That's something I said. I think it resonated with the two of you. Am I right? Am I right? Yes, that's nice. That's nice. The eyes are the window to the soul. You know, when you're watching a character on screen, you're watching his face. The only thing actually watching are his eyes. And that's why I tell the cinematographers, don't try to make me look good. Just put a light in my eyes so people can see the catch in my eyes, so they understand what I'm thinking. We can get a lot out of silences of people. People are sitting in these wonderful institutions, and I'm sure that the people who are there, who come and they help, you've got staff or what. When they pass by you, I'm sure they understand what you're feeling without you. I know that people stop by you and say, what's the matter with you today? What's the matter? Why are you so quiet? Oh, you're in a good mood, but you've not said anything. And still people know through silences how people feel. And if we are not alive to that, you can't be good at anything. You can't be a good nurse, you can't be a good doctor, you can't be a good anything. And definitely you can't be a good actor if you do not understand what people feel, what people go through, what people's pain is, why are they finding joy on a particular day. That is how I prepare for my roles. I worked in theater at the age of 35. I never had a passport, I told you, till the age of 35. What would a shopkeeper need a passport for? We were simple folk living a simple life. My grandfather and my grandmother, they came from Iran as refugees on a donkey. Think about it. I never realized, this word refugee has come up now because we've heard of the refugee crisis. But now I realize that my grandmother and my grandfather were refugees. They came down from Iran on a donkey. This is not a story from the Bible. This is not a biblical incident. They rode, they stayed in a tent at night across the desert from one town to another, and they caught a sailboat from Khurramshah, Iran, and came to Mumbai. Think about it. Today, we sit in plush hotels, nice rooms, fly pretty well in the comfort. And then people ask me when I go from city to another city, and they welcome and they give you flowers, and they escort you to the room, and they say, is your room good? And how was the flight? I'm saying to myself, did anybody ask my sweet grandmother how was her trip from Iran to Mumbai? Right? And I think that's so important for us to understand, to value what we have, and not to forget where we come from. Yeah? Whatever we have, and you may never have as much as the other guy. Never. You will never have much, but we value what we have. And this is a lesson that I learned from my grandmother. She always used to say, I came from Iran. I had a 1-year-old baby in my arms. The baby was dying. Can you imagine what that old lady was going through? I mean, she was 17 years old. What am I saying? She was 17 years old. And she's asking my grandfather, her husband, what do I do? The child is dying. He's saying, we just have to wait till we get to Mumbai. And today, we sit and grumble. We, at least this generation, or maybe not my generation, maybe my generation, or maybe the younger, a race of grumblers, wanting the best without even working hard for it. So I always think of my grandmother, who told me one thing: whatever you do, I joined the Taj Mahal Hotel as a waiter. And I said, is it okay if I'm a waiter? She's saying, your father was a table boy. What are you talking about? Your grandfather used to wipe tables. So why are you asking me that you want to join a hotel as a waiter? What are you talking about? I said, no, I just thought I want to make you proud. He's saying, you will make me proud. Hasn't your grandfather made us proud? And she said something, and I hope it doesn't sound derogatory, but she said, you can do what you want. And she said in Gujarati, gali no mochi banje, pan dunya no best mochi banwani koshish karje. You know, be the best. I said, okay. I went to the Taj Mahal. I said, let's go to the best. I said, I want to be a waiter here. And that guy asked me, he was a Parsi guy. You all are familiar with Parsis, I hope. Very small community left on this planet. 64,000, they say. And that guy, his gentleman's name was Sam Bhara. And Sam Bhara tells me, which department do you want to join? So I said, I want to join the food and beverage department. He said, you're damn fool. The hotel business is about food and beverage. Be specific. Well, there's a lesson in that. Be specific, he said. I said, I want to join the French restaurant, the Rendezvous or the Rooftop. He's saying, great. You want something. And that stuck in my head. You want something. If you don't want anything in life, your story is not worth telling. And it got stuck in my head. You want something. And I'm very proud of you for saying that. You know exactly what you want. I said, sir, when do I start? Saying, you start now. I would start in the basement, start in room service. I said, why? I thought I was going to the Rendezvous Rooftop French restaurant. He said, you want to start from the top? It's the other way around, son. You start in the basement and you work your way up. These lessons are stuck in my head even today. Even today, I was sharing with Gupta ji and Ritu and Stuti ma'am before you all came in, that I've directed my first film at 64. And people are saying, why did you start so late? I said, no, I started bang on time. Exactly when this person was supposed to do what he's supposed to do. However, it took me 10 years to learn how to write and to direct. I studied how to do it, just as Mr. Sam Bhara of Taj Mahal Hotel told me, start in the basement, you idiot. These are his exact words. Start in the basement, you idiot. And I said, yeah, I'll start in the basement. And it took me 10 years to write a very basic script. Because just because I've worked 20 years in the industry and done 100 films does not give me the authority to start writing and directing. I've only been an actor, right? So I don't know why I'm telling you all these stories about me, how I got to get into the movies, but I feel that there is a journey and one must live the journey according to his terms and conditions or her terms and conditions. And that's what I did. I got a role in theater at the age of 36. And Alec Padamsee, you all know Alec Padamsee? Have you heard Alec? So he gave me a 3-minute role. He gave me a 3-minute role. And I said, should I take it or not? And then I read in one of the books I read many years ago that there are no small parts. There are no small roles. There are only small actors. Remember, it doesn't matter whether your role is 3 minutes worth or 3 hours worth. It's what you make of it. And that's what a great lesson in life. It's what you make of the time you have in life. And so I started rehearsing for that 3-minute role. And I was a great fan of Bruce Lee. Strangely, I was watching something of Bruce Lee this morning. Bruce Lee, the great Kung Fu master. You all have heard of Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Right? So there's this very famous quotation of Bruce Lee, which said that, I do not fear the man who has 1,000 kicks. I do not fear the man who has 1,000 different kicks. But I fear the man who has just one kick, but he practices that same kick 1,000 times. I said, ye to bahut acha kamal ka idea hai. And I rehearsed for that 3-minute role, went on stage, and believe it or not, I finally got on stage at the age of 36. I did the role for 3 minutes, and people responded. And my mother was sitting in the audience. I would like to believe she sat in the same seat that she sat when I was in school, when I was on stage in the choir, where I was smiling. But she had the biggest smile because she knew that that's where I wanted to be in life. My want was kind of complete. slowly I did a film which was not very successful. And I met a gentleman who saw that experimental film. And he called me home and gave me, what's this for? He said, for my, I said, which is your next film? He said, I don't have a film. I said, why are you paying me money? He said, no, I'm booking you now. I saw your performance in that unknown film called Let's Talk, which nobody's seen. Nobody has seen that film, but he saw it privately. And that's what's important. The world is not necessarily meant to see all that you do. You just need one or two people to know. And he says, I'm booking you now. I said, really? 7 months later, he calls me and says, I've got a film now. I said, what's the name of the film? He said, Munna Bhai MBBS. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is, my dear friends, people think that you need to have a hit to achieve something in life. The movie that he saw was a film called Let's Talk, which nobody had seen. You may have not even heard of this film, right? But the person who was meant to see it saw it. And he gave me this role in Munna Bhai MBBS that changed my life. And from that day, at the age of 44, I became a film actor. My mother, who passed away at the age of 94, saw that film God knows how many times. I continue to chase my dreams. My wants, as Sam Bhada of the Taj Mahal said, you want something. I say everyone must want something. Whether you're 7 years old, 11 years old, 50 years old, I'm 64, some of you are way above 70, 80. But that shouldn't stop us from wanting to do something. Wanting to make new friends, wanting to write a book, wanting to write a poem, wanting to do everything that you thought of when you were a child, because that is when the want is most pure. So I've spoken for about 25 minutes. I hope that I held your attention with my little story. But I will hand the mic over to either Ritu or Arun and see if any of you have some questions to ask me. I'm here to deliver that. But thank you for listening to my little talk and my little journey. I feel proud, and I really like the lady and the gentleman in the Oppo CPH2531. If you can tell what they were thinking of, and they smiled at each other when I said something I don't quite recall now. But
he's the rock star of the Ahmedabad community.
Yeah.
He sings most of the evenings. He's singing there.
Now he's also organizing now one Ek Sham Rafi Ke Naam. So
he looks
they're
like a disco dancer to me, actually.
So, but we are extremely thankful, and the speech was not only motivating, very inspiring, and I'm sure it has inspired most of us. And all of us are only waiting now to ask something or the other. So I would like to request, ideal will be if somebody would like to raise a hand or something like this, so that I can unmute and we can ask question, so that one question can be heard and then all of us can enjoy the answers given by the answer. So who would like to ask a question first? Though I also have a few questions, but I would like to request.
I'll ask a simple one.
All right, sir.
So as I said about your change in your career at the age of 40 plus with the family there, did you look at the risk? How did you weigh the risk that is there in case something went wrong? How would you take care of your responsibility as a family man?
So
what this?
I think I had kind of the day I could provide. I was not. When I was sitting at the shop, I did not have much an additional income to supply my family. At that time, I was doing theater, which was paying 300 rupees a night, 400 rupees a night. I mean, that didn't do great. But because when I turned to photography, what happened was I didn't do well initially. That was the big risk. I had to take a huge loan. There is no risk in doing a movie and coming back, you know. But the photography was a risk because I had to take a huge loan, which I could not repay. But luckily, I started getting ads as an actor. And those days, there were a lot of models and very good-looking guys and nice, you know, strong body and things. But I came in as the everyman character when advertising became pretty funny and comedic. And I got a break in advertising, and that paid a lot of my bills. When that happened, I started doing theater because I could spend time on theater with 400 rupees a night. And then the highest I was paid in theater was 700. And I was that time. But movies became a byproduct in many ways of my advertising, which people saw me on television and found my face familiar, and that I could do a reasonable amount of comedy. But movies was never the risk. Movies was never the risk because I was always a photographer. And I started doing reasonably well as a photographer. And I was providing. So what's the risk? The risk in this world is having none. Because the worst thing you can do to yourself is give yourself a safety net and have the fear of failure. Duty is one thing, you got to provide. I had 2 children and I had a family. So I provided. So what's the risk? The fear of failure. And I have no fear of failure. Because it's only through all my failings that I have found success. So embrace failure sometimes. It's okay. Nobody's going to laugh at you. The only thing that gets hurt is your ego. And I think once you take care of your ego, you can take care of a lot of your problems. Most of our relationships, most of our success, failure, our behavior with other people has got to do with our ego. So I think the moment we take care of our ego, I think we become calmer people. And I became calm one fine day and I said, never mind, if this doesn't do well, I'll work harder. So I don't think there's a risk, Gupta ji.
Okay. Answer.
Somebody else would like to ask.
Anilji is
Anil
asking.
Gupta sir wants to ask a question. Yes, sir. You can unmute yourself, sir, and then ask a question.
No questions from my side. Mr. Irani in the beginning told a story that somebody came and shouted in his ears, what is your name? I just want to tell him that it will be one of us. It would have been one of us, the oldies. And he is lucky that the person has not shouted in his ears, what is your name, Boman?
Tumhara naam kya hai, Basanti?
Basanti. We are all in that age. The person is in front, everything we remember except the name. This happens quite often.
Happens to the best of us.
Yes.
My wife always calls me by the dog's name. Are,
His
Lisa,
dog?
Are, Gina, Are.
All other names, huh? Except your name.
All the dogs of the gully she'll say, and then she'll say, and then I say, yeah, Maman. Yeah, she forgets.
Oh, that was lovely. Thank you, Anil sir. Yeah, Praveena Shah, madam wants to ask a question. Nahin. Atul wants to ask a question.
Somebody from the audience, maybe. Atul.
Okay.
Hanji.
Hanji, bolo.
Yeah, you got to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very interesting and very motivating talk. And the fact that you can just go on talking, which I've seen a lot of stand-up comedians do. You also had some foray into stand-up comedy, right?
Long ago, yes.
Yes. And how has that experience been? And you still do it?
No, I don't. There's some wonderful comedians, but I want to keep moving, you know. I do a thing, I fulfill that dream, and I move on. My want keeps, there's a lovely quotation that I had heard that when you reach the top of a mountain, it should become the base camp of your next mountain. So my next mountain is to make a film. And it's taken me a long time, Atul, taken me a long time. A lot of heartache, a lot of pain, because nobody's going to give you money to make a film of what you think is good. They want to make a film which will make them money, right? Nobody's going to make a film which is, one from the heart. They say, no, yeah, we don't want to take that chance. And people want to see the same thing because they understand a winning formula. But art is not a formula. Art is an expression, and I want to express myself to the best of my ability of what I feel about my life, my work, the people around me, human beings, human behavior, human emotions, human conditions, which include heartache and comedy in good measure. But so it took me a long time to fulfill my dream. The film is not released yet, so we are holding our breath yet, but the film is ready finally.
All the best, and I'm sure it will do well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Atul. Anybody else? Tuti madam wants to ask a question. Though we've
The rock star wants to ask a question. The rock star wants to ask a question.
No, I'm not a rock star. You are the rock star. I was just
no,
saying
I'm talking
to your
about,
grandmother.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, the gentleman from
the one who sings.
Yes, but anyway, Miss
Okay.
Stuti ma'am, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Stuti
तो
ma'am.
ये कह रहा था आपकी grandmother की life इतनी fascinating है.
जी.
Why you can't make a film on it? It
Well,
is so, I mean, people have struggled so much. They have overcome so many difficulties and they have survived. It will be a beautiful film, I
well, a
think.
thought. Thank you for putting that in my head. Thank you for giving me the idea. Yeah.
All right. We would like to request Badel ji to please जो भी बात करना चाहें, जैसे भी like आप पहले unmute कीजिए Badel sir. Yes.
Unmute करो.
That's a very difficult part for Mr. Badel, you know.
Okay, wait.
Jyotiban is sitting next to him. When Jyotiban is sitting next to him.
कीजिए.
हाँ, thank you. बोलो साहब. साहब जी.
કેમ છો મજામાં છો કે
એકદમ ટીટોરી top.
Okay. Now, as Ritu said, yesterday we have a celebration of New Year. At that time, various program was there, and one of the item was the mono acting, and I have not performed. Why? Because I have thought to perform the Parsi comedy. The title was Parsini RC. Parsini RC. That was the title. Yes. And I showed the script to my wife. Then she go through it.
Oh, that's your wife sitting next to you?
Yes.
Oh, because you are so lovey-dovey. I was wondering, you know.
Yeah. So then she told me she go through the script and say, no. It is very informative. That I will take only 1 minute. In short, what I have thought that the one Parsi family is coming to the Praram smart city where we are living, and they are in search of one villa, and they have conversation with CEO and how the talk is there, and I was going to present to the audience also. Then she told me, no. It is the only information you are providing. Nothing new, nothing laughing, nothing the active. That's not there. So you don't. So that's why I didn't perform. Another thing, I am also a man of the stage. I have performed lot many dramas. And since long I have retired, I am 75-year professor. The thing was in my mind, I want to perform one Parsi comedy. If somebody is there, then what should I do? That is a dream of my life. I am thinking of it. And another thing, I would like to invite you over here. Why don't you just saying that I am moving here and there and long journey you are doing? So why not to our Praram city?
First of all, your wife is a good producer. She knows कि पैसा किधर डालने का उसको समझ में आता है कि ये क्या है information. That's actually a good point what she said. By the way, information is not drama.
Yes.
Very good. That's very good, ma'am. તમારું નામ શું બેન? તમારું નામ? Jyoti Ben. You have done a fantastic judgment. You did not let him perform on information. Great.
I immediately accepted it.
My only thing, Jyoti Ben, he has got this fascination for Parsis. So I would ask you to beware a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Actually, અમે સુરતમાં રહેલો છું, ભણેલો છું સુરતમાં, એટલે મને થોડું પારસીનું નોલેજ છે. મારા પડોશી પણ પારસી હતા.
So I wanted to ask you all a question. When I said something, you all both looked at each other and kind of agreed with what I was saying at one point. What was that point?
Will you please repeat? I am not getting
Now
it.
I can't remember because you all looked at each other and nodded your heads. Remember, what was that? ભૂલી ગયા તમે.
એકબીજાની સામે તો જોવું જ પડે. જો સ્ક્રિપ્ટમાં પૂછવું પડે તો લાઈવમાં બધું નહીં પૂછવાનું.
If you are looking at each other, वहां तक ठीक है. उससे ज्यादा कुछ होगा तो प्लीज आपका कैमरा बंद कर देना बस.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good one. Thank you. Thank you, Martin.
Most welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Right. Now we have our dear residents at Parkside, that is at Bangalore, sitting very quietly. We would like to request them to ask some question.
Let's go, Parkside.
Anthony, where are you? Oh, we can't. We would like to request them to ask a question. Anybody who would like to ask a question? Naveen would like to ask a question. Go ahead, Naveen. Good.
Sir, I have a small question that you have excelled in both comedic and dramatic roles. Just wanted to know, how do you approach the challenge of balancing these different genres at the same time?
I don't consider a role by saying this character will be funny. I never say the character will be funny. The character will be troubled. And the funniness is what the audience should feel. So I don't say, हाँ ये comedy role है, हम comedy करेंगे, लोगों को हंसाएंगे. अगर हंसाने की कोशिश करना चाहेंगे ना, you fall flat on your face. What you should do is stick to the character and what he wants. उसको क्या चाहिए इस character को, और जैसे जैसे उस character को नहीं मिलेगा ना जो उसको चाहिए, उसमें मजा आएगा audience को. My characters are never setting out. I don't think Virus was intending to be funny at all. You know, it just so turns out in Kosla Gosla I played a property dealer who cheats.
Yes, sir.
But for some reason people found it funny. However, I was not intending it to be funny at all. There are some pictures, there are some movies which have got a comedic, but I play the character true for what the character wants. And don't try to play for the laughs because, don't force the audience. Audiences are intelligent enough to laugh on their own. Don't try to make them laugh. Somebody had said a lovely quotation. What is comedy? Comedy is tragedy plus time. It's a very strange thing to say, but comedy is tragedy plus time. And if you look at it, people like to see a guy who's slipping on a banana peel, for starters. He's not laughing. The public is laughing, but that's tragedy in many ways. So I go by that principle. Even in Three Idiots or even Munna Bhai, when I'm laughing, I'm not funny. I'm covering up a heart attack of mine. I'm covering up my anxiety. I'm covering up for my anger. And people are finding that funny. That's the approach that I have in comedy and drama. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Mr. Roji, you will have to unmute yourself to be for us to hear you. Unmute yourself, please, and put the screen a little down so that sir can see.
It's a light. Yes.
Yes.
थोड़ा tilt कर लो रोजी साहब.
थोड़ा tilt करो उसको नीचे.
Tilt it a little. No problem. Anyway, this is also do. But then unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Yeah, this is the Bangalore community, Parkside.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Roji, who's asking the question?
Anybody asking question? Please come. Please come forward.
Normally, Mr. Radhakrishnan always will ask a question.
Mm.
When Gitanjali Iyer was there, he went and said, "Where is your hair gone?" The time when it was
Yes.
the newsfeed. Why is he quiet today? He can't find the hair, you know. So
Roji, who's coming?
Nobody is there, madam.
Question? Nobody wants to ask a question. You want to ask a question?
No.
No, you're too shy to ask a question. Okay, all right.
They find me very boring, I think.
No, sir. Your stories are so inspiring. So, sir, if someone sitting here or anywhere, because age is just a number, so if somebody wants to enter the industry, what is the piece of advice that you would like to give to them, sir?
Be unique. Do not imitate anyone. Be unique. Whether you want to be a singer, let it be a voice I've not heard before. If you want to act when you're doing an audition, take that audition in a way that you say, "Wow, I got surprised by that," rather than saying, "Oh, he does a great so and so. Oh, he's doing a nice, great version of so and so." No, I think you've got to find your own voice and being unique in anything that you do. Anything that you do, no matter how, whether you're 11 or 75 or 80, it doesn't matter. You still have something to present to the world. You still do.
Thank you so very much, sir. That gets me motivated. You want to ask some question? Question पूछेंगे?
Puche, please.
जी. पूछे. Hello करेंगे? Hello कर रहे हैं मुझसे.
Hello.
बात करेंगे.
You only speak in Telugu.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Yes, please.
Heard a lot about your pursuing a dream and getting into things in your 30s and 40s. I would like to know, there may be some things which you wanted to do and were not able to do for whatever reason. So
Right.
how do you cope with that? Because at our age, there are lots of things.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. I mean, all I say this, at a later age, there are sometimes regrets that we have not been able to do this or something.
Right.
For a good enough reason. So how does one cope with that regret and the time is past?
The time is never past, ma'am. Now, if somebody turns on and tells me, if somebody turns on and tells me that why are you directing a film at the age of 64, my time as a director has passed. My son and I are directing our debut films at the same time. His film might come out before mine. So does it mean that I should stop
that's fantastic.
myself? Yeah. Should I stop myself at 64 and say, no, I shouldn't be directing my film? No way. In fact, maybe 10 years from now, I'll do something completely different. I don't know. So I don't believe in this thing is my time has passed, because at 44, if somebody says, 44, you want to be an actor? The time has passed. I say, no. Who decides that? You? No. I will decide when my time has passed. So that's very clear. My timeline is set by me, not by what norms of society decide. I'm sorry, but because we might have something to offer that might have, if I made my debut as a director when I was 35, for example, I would have made a little less mature film. I'm trying to make a mature film, and I think I'm at the right age and understood life in a more understanding way than I would have at the age of 35. So I think this is the right time for me to have made a film like this. So, you know, for a film of this genre, I'm correct at the right age to make that film. So let's not decide each other's timelines.
Okay, that's very motivating. Thank you.
Most welcome.
All right, lovely. Vinny ma'am would like to ask a question.
Sure.
No?
Ma'am is very shy.
Yes, she is, though she had drafted one, but now she doesn't want to ask, maybe.
Okay, if you have said so.
Yeah.
She charges to ask questions.
No, sir, it's not that. Lovely questions. Mine may be a stupid one, but then I just wanted to, request you to tell my residents, the elderly people, that happiness is when they come out. You have to tell them something about the happiness that is in socializing, coming out, and sitting with each other, not at their place, lonely in their houses, which is much happening where we are, we all are sitting. So instead of I don't know, this puppy of mine,
I thought so when you lifted your hand. When you lifted your hand, I was sure it was not your husband sitting next to you.
He will not let me ask is the answer to my question, I wanted to ask, I just wanted to request you to tell my elders that they should come out to have more happiness, to spread amongst each other and not sit at home, lonely, in isolation. Most of them, I think you understood.
I did. What's the little doggy's name?
She's Dora.
Dora. Hi, Dora. Yeah. You're doing a good job.
I don't know, because I see what she is. She is not leaving me alone for a minute.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I really don't know. I said what I had to say in many different ways.
Yes.
I'll try and say it in another way. And that is, I know of young people who have this idea of not moving.
Correct.
Young people. It's a state of mind. It's got nothing to do with one's mobility or the desire to meet. I know a very close friend's daughter who doesn't leave the house. And we've got to ask ourselves as to what is it that you want really? Like I said, no, like Mr. Sam Bara said, what is it that you want? I want to do this. The moment you have a want, so remember, in the modern parlance, let's use the word #want. #want. What is it that we want? You have to ask yourself, is this what you want? And ask yourself that question every day. Maybe not. What is it that you ever wanted to do? I wanted to write. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to write a book of poems. I wanted to paint. I wanted to make 100 new friends. You must want something to step out of your comfort zone because you found comfort in loneliness. That's the problem. You found comfort in loneliness, which is happening not just you keep saying that people of a certain age are in that position. Young people in this day and age have become like that. You know why? And let me talk about young people. I'm talking about teenagers. I went to a school function, Vinny. There were 500 students from different schools, and this is worth listening to, who were having a festival for 3 days. And they were all having anxiety and depression issues. So that function was for those school children. I'm asking myself, why are children in this day and age having anxiety and depression? It's got to do with so many things I can't tell you. It's got to do with this goddamn Instagram. We get stuck in front of our phone from morning to night. We find comfort in that phone. The youngsters especially find Instagram very challenging because they feel they need to look like somebody else to be accepted and acceptable in society. So they find a comfort zone in their loneliness and find happiness there. However, people of a slightly, in the timeline of, say, in the 70s or 80s, they might feel they've had a good life, and this is where they find their comfort. However, you have to ask yourself that question. Is this the life I want? Is this? So what is it that you want? Find something to look forward to. I tell you, my school friends, my batchmates have all retired. I said, is this what you want? Yeah, I've worked hard enough. Yeah, okay. Are you happy? No, I do get bored sometimes. Okay, then what is it that you want? What is it that you dreamt of as a child that you've not fulfilled? Go ahead and do that, no matter what it takes. So my deal in life is always to look forward to something by wanting something, even if it is a party. I'm looking forward to a simple party, meeting my school friends after 20 years. I'm so excited. So projection of looking forward is very, very important. But finding your comfort in a solitary room is not what you really want if you're honest with yourselves. If you really want to be alone, I don't think that's what people really want. They would like to come out. They need just a want. Long story short.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think we are more or less good with everyone's asking a lot of questions, and you've been with us for more than an hour now. We would like to know if there's any resolution that you made for yourselves and you would like others also to have a similar resolution for their year.
I'm going to go into my living room and see my wife is sitting there and see if she remembers my name. I'm joking. I'm just joking. I'm a silly child. I feel the child in me is still alive. And that is a very important aspect of my existence. Being childish and being able to mock yourself, to laugh at yourself, to have fun at your own expense. If you don't have fun at your own expense, how do you expect people around you to be happy? You can't mock others and think that you're having fun at somebody else's expense. First, make fun of yourself. And that's what I do all the time. If you noticed, I started with that. So let me go and ask my wife. Hope she remembers my name.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm joking. She's a wonderful girl. Her name is Zenobia. She's a Parsi. The moment I said that, apna Gujarati bhai na kaan ubba thai gaya ki Parsi nu naam. She's a Parsi and she's wonderful. And she asked me what's happening today, and I told her what she said. She said something very sweet to me. She put her hand on, when I was sitting here, she put her hand on my back and said, "Good, proud of you." That's all you need. You need people around you to be proud of you to keep going. Yeah, that's all.
Very nice. Yes. Thank you so very much, sir. Yeah. I would like to request Mr. Arun Gupta to say a few last words before we close.
Well, I can't say last words. Bomanji is the one who's got the gift and to talk and say the last words. But from Age Ventures, we are really, very thankful to you for spending your time. And I hope if I send you a message and ask for a repeat sometime later, after some time,
sure,
I would be able to snatch an hour or so of yours.
But take a review from all the people who are listening in. If they were bored, then don't call me again. If they enjoyed, then do call me again.
Sure. I would do that. But I think, knowing them, I've been with them for 5 years after they moved in. I think all of them had a good laugh.
I hope so.
Serious.
I hope so.
Yeah, they were.
I'll only know if they do this, I'll realize, people, if they do.
Okay.
If they do this,
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Give a round of applause to you, sir.
Wonderful. Wonderful talk, Mr. Irani.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
So
sir.
much,
Thank you. Thank you, all the audience. Thank you, everyone,
Thank you
for
very
joining
much.
us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Have
you.
a great
Bye-bye.
year ahead.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.